Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragons. With Module 24, we shall be able to obtain one of the best belt items, the Spider Totem, which shall actually be best in slot when fighting particular enemies, and in my opinion, it is still, even so, when not against Drow, a little bit better than the Forger's Box. Let me explain why. But first, how do you obtain it and how do you upgrade it? Let's find out. So the first thing you need to do is complete the new campaign. Again, this is coming out in November the 8th. We have North Dark Reaches. Now, you can see on the bottom right here, to obtain your Spider Totem, you have to complete this first task, which says you need to complete the 7th milestone of the campaign, which is very weird because once I was at the 7th part, it didn't let me obtain it. I couldn't do it until I finally finished the campaign. Now, I had finished the campaign on a previous character and unlocked the ability to create this Spider Totem. The problem was you need these brilliant Cabochon gems. Additionally, you'll need like 5 gold. You'll need 75 of the weekly haul currency from the campaign, and you need 500 of these tokens, which you get from just doing your quests and your heroic encounters. Now, these brilliant gems come from the Master Temple of the Spider with a weekly cap of 3. I initially calculated it that I would run on my other character who had completed the campaign and complete the Master Temple of the Spider when it was released the second time, limited time on the previous server, and then I would obtain my gem. The problem was I was running it on my wizard, and when we did complete, you can see we ended up obtaining 2 of those brilliant gems, and so on my next run I obtained another gem, and then I was at my weekly cap, and that was it. And so yes, be warned, those brilliant gems are a count weekly haul of 3. I couldn't go and get this gem on that other character who already completed the campaign, so I had to go back, complete the campaign all again, through the whole tedious repetitiveness of those quests, and so we can finally create our Spider Totem. This will only be on green, and we'll have to figure out how to upgrade it. Additionally, it gives you 100 extra like weekly haul cap for that currency for the campaign. If this does become available on the 7th milestone, that means getting from 7 to 1,000 should complete like twice as fast. But let's start this task and let's obtain that totem. So we take our rewards. You can see our weekly haul is now increased by 100, and we have another task, but in our inventory we now have the Eerie Spider Totem, this being the green version, which you can get to Mythic as the perfect Spider Totem. So initially you can see you can equip it and we can refine it, and we can see refining it will require us this fine drow cloth. Along with that, you'll need some enchanting stones and some refinement points. 100% chance, so that's nice. And we can see the next step is this. We're going to obtain that fine drow cloth. It does require us 2 of those brilliant Cabochon gems. So yes, you're going to have to be completing Master Temple of the Spider to get this thing upgraded, and additionally to even obtain it on green. So it's not going to be for the faint of heart, and it's definitely going to be quite a challenge. We can get it to blue though, starting this task. Completing it gives us that reward, the cloth that we needed, and then we have the next step. And with that cloth, we can go and refine our totem up to blue. 100% success chance there, excellent. And we can see the next step to get to purple will require just one more reagent here, the Myconid polish. But additionally, you're going to need a glyph and you're going to need some enchanting stones. Interesting. And you, of course, need some refinement points there. And I'm assuming this Myconid polish then will come from the next step, which here needs 3 of those gems. And it's very likely the step after that will need 4, and the next one to get to Mythic we'll need 5. So overall it's going to take us at least 4 weeks from our weekly haul to get this to Mythic. Interesting. But once again on Mythic, it's going to be one of the best in slot belt items, and I'll show why in just a second. Now, in order to actually use the thing, you'll be putting it on your belt items, and you won't be able to put it with like the Forger's box. They've changed that effect. Same with the Chain of Scales. You won't be able to have both of them slotted. So you have to simply switch them out. Unfortunately, again, you can't use both. Otherwise, I guess we'll end up with stat power creep. So once we have it there, we can see we can simply use it by casting that, and it has that kind of cool animation there. We can see the animation here again. Pretty neat. And checking our buff bar, you can see we have our Spider's Advantage and our Spider's Luck. Again, both will last the full 30 minutes. And I think if you die, much like the Forger's box, those will probably expire. Be all the benefit if it didn't, but it does. So if you die in combat, well, rip to the buff. You can see the buffs in the top left there on your buff bar. You can tooltip them and see what they would say. And additionally, just to confirm, let's die in this pack of enemies. And when we go to like scroll back up, yeah, unfortunately, the buffs are gone. Much like the Forger's box and the Chain of Scales. So nothing new there. But to be honest, we'll all be completing the new dungeon Deathless at some point, much like Vault of Stars. Looking at it on Mythic, you can see that the stats it's going to give us is much like the Forger's box, as when you use it, it will last for 30 minutes, and it will increase your combat advantage by 2.5% and increase your damage against drow by 1%. If you're a casual player and don't intend to do master content, and don't intend to seriously farm the new dungeon on master version, then to be honest, all of this is probably a waste of your time, as these are small benefits compared to anything else you could use to upgrade your character. But they all add up in the end, and so min-maxing is what you do in the end game. Now, additionally, unlike the Forger's box, they will give you 2 sets of stats. We can see you have a chance to obtain one of these 3 sets. The first one gives you 2% crit chance and 2% stamina regen. The second one, 2% accuracy and 2% action point gain. And then the last one, 2% power and 2% recharge speed. All very useful for damage dealers, except like the stamina regen. But you're still obtaining a stat that's beneficial. When we compare that to the Forger's box, you can see you gain 3% power. So already that's a little bit higher than the 2.5% combat advantage you were getting from the totem. But additionally, you only receive one of the following effects. It's like crit chance, or accuracy, or combat advantage, or crit severity. All of them only 2%. And then or action point gain, or recharge speed at 6%. So it's very hard to make a build to fit any of these following effects, and other than being lucky to obtain the 2% accuracy or the action point gain or recharge speed, you're most likely already going to have your build capped on crit severity, combat advantage, and critical strike. So there's no point in those effects, and so half the time you're going to gain a benefit you make no use of, other than always the 3% power. And so it makes the Forger's box a little bit less appealing compared to the totem, where you can make your build to fit the 2% crit chance or 2% accuracy or 2% power. And to go with that, you will gain an additional effect of like action point gain and recharge speed. And other than stamina regen, they will all benefit to you to dealing extra damage. And so you can make a build which can reliably make a benefit of the crit chance, accuracy, and power, as you know you will guaranteed always get one of those 3. Whereas, again, the Forger's box, it's a chance to gain one of those 4 stats, and that's 4 stats versus 3 stats that you would have to have at 88% to actually make use of that 2%. And then on the other side, you also have the time where you might get action point gain and recharge speed, which just isn't good as just a 2% buff, especially when you can't just rely on the action point gain all the time. So you're going to have to make sure without that you get your daily power for the artifact call anyway, so then it becomes pointless. Now let's have a look at the math. If you were to just straight up compare your Forger's box to your Spider Totem based on the guaranteed stats they give you, so the 3% power versus the 2.5% combat advantage, you can see the Forger's box is a 0.27% better. and that is when you're not fighting Drow. But when you are fighting Drow, you can see you gain that 1% extra damage, and it's going to add to your existing damage buffs. And so if you have like 60% and go to 61%, you can see compared again with those stats, you gain a 0.36% in favor of the Spider Totem. So hands down right there, it's already best in slot for the new dungeon. We are talking about fractions of a percentage in damage gain, but again, every little helps. Your entire character is built up of fractions of a percent to your damage, and when you add up all of those percents, that's what gives you your overall damage. So you have to keep that in mind. However, many people are going to rebalance. Nobody's going to go into combat with missing 2.5% combat advantage. You're just going to cap that anyway with the Forger's Box and just reduce your accuracy. So we have to look at the rebalancing. So this is when not fighting Drow, and all the difference will be is a 0.5% on your accuracy, and that overall gives you a 0.21% in favor of the Forger's Box. When you are fighting Drow, you can see you gain the 1% here again. It's a 0.41% in favor of the Spider Totem. So again, hands down, absolutely the best for your new dungeon, where all 3 bosses are considered Drow. And you can go back to the video where I tested the overloads, and they were working, and they were considering them as Drow then. But again, you can see with the benefit of the Spider Totem giving you the additional benefits that you can actually build around and reliably will give you a useful benefit is a bit better, in my opinion, again, from the Forger's Box. Since again, the Forger's Box half the time will generally give you statistics that you want to be capped on anyway. You can get away with the Spider Totem and not cap your crit chance, accuracy, or power, have that at 88%, and the Spider Totem will cap you out. And that will also allow you to get a bit more accuracy by sticking that 2% somewhere else. And then with the Spider Totem, it might give you even 2% more accuracy, more crit chance, or power. So to conclude, for the majority of players, it's not going to matter. And majority of players are not going to be able to beat Master Temple of the Spider, so you can just pretend the Spider Totem doesn't exist and just go for the Forger's Box. I've made videos in the past. I've made like 2 versions, I believe. The newer version should be a little bit more explanatory, a little bit easier to follow on how to exactly get that Forger's Box obtained and upgraded to Mythic. It's not that hard, but it is a bit of a grind. Definitely not going to be as much of a grind as the Spider Totem, with having to again require you to complete the master version of Temple of the Spider. But that's not going to be too hard for those people who are farming the dungeon anyway. It's just going to be a matter of time before they can easily obtain it and upgrade it. You're not relying on any chance, which is very nice compared to the Forger's Box. You simply just farm your things, get your reagents, and then get it upgraded. Easy as pie. Additionally, you get that 100 extra weekly haul, which will get you boosted on your finishing the campaign. And again, you should only need to get to 700 points if they fix it to unlock getting your Spider Totem. And that should be the same for getting your keys for the Temple of the Spider. You should only need 2 weeks. However, it still seems to be broken. As you can see, I can't buy the key for some reason. It says you need to complete the 2nd milestone of North Dark Reaches campaign, which I have. I've gotten to 200. Anyway, a bit bugged. Hopefully they fix it before the module launch, but we shall see. Again, a special thank you to all of these channel members for their added support. And hopefully I presented this well, but I did consider leaving a video like. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.